financial sector. Accordingly, the following are the key outcomes. On co-options, we have resolved to co-opt Fighter Godrich Gadi into the Central Command team, effective immediately. Godrich Gadi is a former Secretary General and a Commissar and will continue to serve in the CCT. On the War Council deployments portfolios, the officials have been deployed in the following way. President and CIC, Gauteng and Limpopo, Deputy President, Eastern Cape and Free State, Secretary General, KwaZulu-Natal and Western Cape, Deputy Secretary General, Northern Cape, National Chair, Northwest, Treasurer General, Mpumalanga. The following commissars have been elected to serve in the War Council, which is a structure responsible for the day-to-day operations of the EFF and have also been deployed in provinces as heads of CCT deployees. Commissar Renelo Mashabela Gauteng, Nontando Nolchungu KwaZulu-Natal, Mboiseni Ndlozi Eastern Cape, Sam Matias Limpopo, Rebecca Muthala Mpumalanga, Fana Mukwena Northwest, Mawatu Mukausi Western Cape, Puaba Madokwe Free State, Yolisa Yako Northern Cape. In addition, Commissar Patrick Sindani Mobilization and Organizing, Commissar Mgrini Chwaku Elections, Commissar Vuyane Pambo Spokesperson, Commissar Delisile Ngwenya Spokesperson. On CCT deployments and portfolios, the rest of CCT commissars are deployed in the following provinces. The list is available there. It will be shared with you. Accordingly, departments in the EFF will be as follows: Presidency, President, Deputy President, Governance, Policy and Research, National Chairperson, Communications, Head of Presidency, Political Education, Investments. Secretary General Office, Secretary General, Deputy Secretary General, Human Resource, Membership, Organizing and Mobilization, Elections, Security, Legal Services. Treasurer General Office, Treasurer General, Finance and Fundraising, Asset Management, Merchandising, Investment. Allocations of portfolios and departments to the CCT members is as follows. The list is there, it's long, so it will be shared with the members of the media and the public. On full-time service in the EFF offices, as per second National People's Assembly resolution, the Secretary General and the Deputy Secretary General will both serve in the EFF head office on full-time basis. The Treasurer General will put full-time systems in the head office and will only be recalled from political deployment at a later stage. Accordingly, all provincial secretaries have been recalled from provincial legislatures effective from 1st June 2020 to serve full-time in the provincial offices as per the EFF Constitution. On Student Command, working with the EFF Student Command, we shall build EFF Student Command branches in all institutions of higher learning. In the same spirit, we shall fully support their Sizofunda Ngenkani campaign, seeking to make sure that the doors of learning are open to all. We call on institutions of higher learning never to turn any student back because of money or financial problems. On SOT, Ramaphosa has not recorded a single victory or achieved since his election into president when Jacob Zuma was removed. Under his watch, the economy is collapsing, recording some of the highest unemployment rates in the world, with over 50% of the youth effectively out of work. His government is dismantling and destabilizing state-owned enterprises, which are people's property, in order to justify privatization and mass retrenchment of workers. In essence, is effectively enabling white monopoly capital to take over SOEs and restrict the role of the state in the economy and industrial development in general. This is a reversal of the 1994 gains, where the interest of the white minority reigned supreme over the interest of the black majority. The problem of Eskom have worsened under the incompetent and seemingly untouchable Pravin Gordhan. South Africa, the largest economy in the continent, has power cuts every day, disrupting all social and economic life. Yet there are no consequences on Pravin Gordhan, who is the minister responsible for this crisis. There are as many power cuts in a day as there are blinks of an eye. Even the scheduled stages of load shedding are no longer reliable and no one can even plan around them anymore. In addition, the South African Airways is also facing collapse. We must all read the announcement of the closure of the Durban route as effective the end of SAA as an airline for black people. This is because Durban is the holiday destination for a majority of black people. All the appointments made in the state-owned enterprises are worsening the crisis in order to justify privatization and mass retrenchment of workers. 3 summers later, the Ramaphosa government is still proving completely incapable of governing. It is well on the way to become a mere executive for the management of the common affairs of the white bourgeoisie. Ramaphosa projects himself as a consultative and accessible by always meeting the political leaders, not because he values their input, but in an attempt to neutralize the opposition. The CCT has therefore taken a decision that no EFF leader must ever meet Ramaphosa or any of the captains of the industry in private. In addition, if the State of the Nation address is to be peaceful, Ramaphosa must do the honorable thing and fire Pravin Gordhan. This is now long overdue. Accountability means there must be political consequences to incompetence. Gordhan must go before he runs down all the assets of the state and the people of South Africa. Most painfully, under his watch, black executives in key state institutions are being vilified, projected as incompetent and corrupt, then replaced with racial minorities, which is the greatest statement of no confidence in African leadership. We will therefore march to the public enterprise offices in Pretoria to demand Pravin Gordhan to resign. We also call of de Klerk to stay away from SONA and return the Nobel Peace Prize because he has proven to be an unrepentant apartheid apologist. Democratic Parliament space with an apartheid apologist who says apartheid is not a crime against humanity. The world must know that the final president of the murderous racist apartheid regime has told black people that apartheid was not a crime against their humanity. Such a man should be tried for the crimes of apartheid, isolated from society, so that his toxic views can rot his evil soul in prison. We call on the unsealing of CR17 documents which were wrongly sealed ahead of the court hearing in which Ramaphosa is opposing the report of the public protector. The Financial Intelligence Center has addressed and led evidence in court that these documents were not wrongly attained. It should have been easy for a court of law to seal. It should have never been easy for a court of law to seal documents in an open and public court in the first place. If needs be, we are prepared to lead an application strictly focusing on the unsealing of these documents in the name of accountability. It has become a tradition in South Africa that Ramaphosa should not be subjected to the harsh scrutiny that those in power are subjected to. Society must ask as to where is the right to know NGO which took Parliament to the highest court in the land demanding that the citizens must have the right to know who funds politicians. All the vocal NGOs like Section 27, My Vote Counts, CASAC, Corruption Watch, who always demand accountability, are dead silent when it comes to Ramaphosa. The media, on the other hand, vilifies anyone who seeks to hold Ramaphosa or Pravin Gordhan accountable. The common factor between the NGOs and the key media investigative centers is that they are all funded by George Soros, meaning George Soros has his puppets in South Africa and protects them from public scrutiny and accountability. Will not be shocked to find out that some of these organizations and key individuals in the media have been beneficiaries of the CR17 funding, and hence none of them seek unsealing of CR17 documents. A truly vigorous and independent media that works in the interest of the constitutional principles of holding the powerful accountable would have been the first to invest in getting these documents unsealed. A genuine media will want to know why have the Ramaphosa CR17 people worked so hard to keep these documents out of the public eye. This is why we will continue to mobilize for all our people to stop watching the ENCA, which boycotted coverage of the EFF on the basis that we refuse to associate with compromised Daily Maverick, Amabungane, and Scorpio. We were exercising our constitutional right and freedom of association. The South African and international independent media never stopped covering apartheid, a regime that committed crimes against people, journalists and media houses. Yet ENCA has the audacity to withdraw coverage of political party that has done no harm to anyone or any media house. This is hypocrisy masquerading a broad plan to silence the EFF from holding those in power accountable. ENCA shall be treated the same way as we did ANN7. We have taken a resolution to take Ramaphosa and his government head on and will not cower at any attempt to intimidate us using the media or state security agencies. The conditions for mass protest are everywhere, yet leaders of working class formations are scared to challenge Ramaphosa because they fear media vilification, SARS inquiries, arrest, and general victimization. We will mobilize all formations in the left to unite in action and take Ramaphosa on. The working class have taken down far bigger problem in South Africa before Ramaphosa, and Ramaphosa will form part of that list. On the National Director of Public Prosecution, we have taken the resolution to review the irrational and factional decision of the NDPP to withdraw the criminal case against culprits of the Rogue Unit. A rational and fair NDPP will have allowed the matter to conclude in court and not shortcut it when it is already on trial. The decision is worse than the instance where the NDPP withdrew corruption charges against Jacob Zuma because in Zuma's case, the matter had not set for trial. It is increasingly clear that the new NDPP works for the Pravin Gordhan faction and was appointed precisely to block this Rogue Unit case and any other case seeking to hold him accountable. The Rogue Unit culprits must have their day in court and answer for their crimes in front of an independent and sober judge. On public protectors' fitness to hold office, we are aware that Parliament has entered the frivolous and disingenuous motion of DA to remove Advocate Busisiwe Mkhwebane as a public protector. We will oppose this move, which is a united action by the DA and Ramaphosa faction in the ANC to the end. We have no doubt that this motion will be defeated. We will also be objecting to the inclusion of the conflicted retired Judge Nugent in the panel of those who will conduct the preliminary inquiry. This is because Judge Nugent has demonstrated the greatest incompetency to be a sober and independent judge during SARS Commission of Inquiry. It was revealed that he secretly met Pravin Gordhan ahead of his testimony at the commission to guide him on how to give evidence. This makes him a conflicted judge who will secretly meet witnesses, thus rendering the entire process futile. Furthermore, Judge Nugent suppressed an affidavit that contained compromising information on Ramaphosa from public record on the same commission. He has proven to be a cabal member who is always seeking to protect Ramaphosa and Gordhan. The inquiry itself is a political attempt to distract the public protector from doing her honorable job of holding Ramaphosa and Gordhan accountable. To include Judge Nugent will therefore render this inquiry into a complete mockery of the Constitution and Parliament itself. The EFF will be making proposals of names to Parliament. On National March to Eskom, Financial Sector and White Monopoly Capital. The time has come to fight against the power of white monopoly capital in our country. Thus, we'll be communicating with all formation in the left, from trade unions to community organizations, to embark on a national march to Eskom against its privatization and against load sheddings. The march will take place on 28 February 2020 in Gauteng and all provinces. We invite all South Africans to join in their masses to fight in defense of the people's asset and demand an end to load shedding. We shall stage occupation in financial institutions that profile black people for their marginalization. All insurances and medical aid companies as well as banks shall get unannounced occupation to demand equal treatment for black people. We shall also march to the properties of Johan Rupert, particularly his farm in Mpumalanga and Western Cape. We shall march to Stephen Koshev's Investec against its undue influence over the political affairs of this country through their puppet Ramaphosa. Finally, we shall march to O.R. Tambo Airport to demand the closure of the Oppenheimer private terminal, Fireblade. On constitutional amendment to allow land expropriation, we call on South Africans to embrace the extension of the public submission to the ad hoc committee on constitutional amendment to allow expropriation of land without compensation. Written public submission have been extended until the 29th February 2020. All progressive formation in society must take advantage and write in support of the return of the land for the total decolonization. We also call on South Africans to also participate in their numbers during the public hearings of the committee across the country. All Africans must unite against any effort to dilute or delay this resolution. The land must be expropriated without compensation, be placed under the collective custodianship of the democratic state, just like it is with mineral and petroleum resources through the MPRDA. Thank you.
Thank you, CSC. I'm going to invite all of us to questions. So let's attempt the first round. Because also some of the leadership is new, please introduce yourself fully and the media house you represent, okay? So it'll be number 1, number 2, number 3. Anyone else? Okay, number 4. Okay, start number 1. EWN. CIC, when you talk about SONA and you say you want answers from Ramaphosa or he has not given you sufficient answers, with having Bodan and also him failing in the economy. So what's your next step? Because the presiding officers have asked EFF not to decide or interrupt, whatever you call it, when it comes to SONA. Number 2, when you talk about the NDP, when you say this decision is worse than Zuma, do you think there's evidence sufficiently shown that those 3 are guilty, or are you basing on something else? Thank you. Thank you. Number 2.
And Mr. Malema, thank you so much. Basically, I want to find out, we were just at the ANC briefing a few minutes ago in Joburg. They were talking about Swan and the developments thereof in that council. They're saying that they're in consultation with all the political parties that are there to actually see if they won't be able to vote out Stevens Mukhalapa as the mayor. Have they consulted you? What's your stance in as far as what's happening in Swane? And number 2, of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, the president, has been now officially inaugurated as the chairperson of the AU. In his speech, he did make mention of the fact that he would see to it that peace and stability in the African continent is a daily occurrence. Do you really think that you'll be able to do that? And of course, just for the fact that now in South Africa, we are sharing that institution, what's your reaction to that? Yes, we'll go to class.
And go see, and then number 3.
Mbali Tetani from Newsroom Africa. I just want to add on to Bonga's question in regards to the SONA. When you're saying that if Ramaphosa wants a peaceful SONA, what do you plan on doing as the EFF? Because we've heard these calls saying that calling on for a much more peaceful SONA. Also looking at reports, we've seen reports, especially from the City Press today, in regards to some of your members saying that you are going out of your way to make the lives of some of the party members who did not vote with you at your conference difficult. What are the claims actually when we look at that? They've named the likes of Umandisa Mashego, saying that she packed up her bags and she left office and she's resigned in that regard. Can you also touch on that aspect?
Thank you. Last one.
Otatu Madisa from the Sowetan. Mr. Malema, we are aware that Mandisa Mashego, the Gauteng chairperson, did not attend plenum this week. Do you know why? Can you bring us into your confidence on that? The second question is to address your tweet when you mentioned that there are 2 provincial chairpersons who are in talks with Mashaba. What are you basing that on? What evidence do you have as the EFF that this is happening, and what is the party doing in that regard? The last one is on Vuyani Bambo. I'm not sure if you got it, but you mentioned it in passing. Is he now the spokesperson of the party or the spokesperson of one of the spokespersons for the war council? I'm not sure if I got it right. Can you just clarify that?
Okay. Mr. President.
Well, Vuyani and Delisile are the new spokespersons of the party. Mbuyiseni is no longer the spokesperson. So the spokesperson is the two. They're there at the back there. You can stand up so they can see. There. Yes. Then Mbuyiseni is going to head political education in the party. Mandisa gave an apology, and we also have a medical certificate from her. So I don't know whether Mandisa resigned. Maybe he resigned at Newsroom Africa, but here there's nothing. We have a medical certificate. And whether Mandisa packed her bags, I don't know that. I hear that from you. But when you say we're making life difficult of the people who didn't support me, I was uncontested.
About the faction,
but I don't belong to any faction. I was elected by all, and the same goes to all of us. We're uncontested. Because I hear people saying Dali contested Floyd. It's not true. It's not true. Floyd was elected uncontested. So he didn't get a threshold. Dali didn't get a threshold. So you can't say he contested. So it's like you signing or making an application to be Miss South Africa, and then you don't qualify, and you go around saying to people, I'm a former contestant of Miss South Africa. It doesn't work like that. You can have an interest to be Miss South Africa, but if they say you don't qualify, and then you can't go around saying, I'm a former contestant for Miss South Africa. So we are elected uncontested. Okay, the AU, I think at least the continent will get to see what we see here in South Africa. A man who wants to be on top and do nothing. So that's Cyril Ramaphosa. We just want to be on top and do nothing. So it gives us an opportunity for the whole continent to see that we are not unreasonable. We are being led by a person who has got no vision, who does a lot of talk and no action. So let them see for themselves. We are talking to ANC about Tshwane. We want Tshwane. We're going to contest Tshwane, and we're going to be the leadership of Tshwane. So we are talking to the ANC. NDPP, we know that the case of the Rogue unit had witnesses. Statements were collected, witnesses were ready to go and testify. So why do you withdraw a case where there are so many witnesses who are saying we're ready, we were part of this, and we were commanded by these people? And they even came out publicly to confirm that they participated in the illegal activities in Rogue unit, guided by these people. It's a factional decision. It's a wrong decision, which many people are celebrating, and they want to push anyone away who dares challenge that decision. They say, no, RAT forces. We are not RAT forces. We don't care what they say. We are going to challenge it. It's a wrong decision. Let the court pronounce. The DA successfully challenged the wrong decision on Zuma, and we will challenge this one. The case, because it involves minorities, it doesn't go to trial. If it was African brothers who were being charged there, we will be hearing a different story. They will have gone to trial and win, and the state would have appealed. But minorities are not held accountable in this country. They do as they wish. So we are going to challenge that decision. We're going to review it. It was already in court. And they pleaded. So let's demand that the sober, neutral judge hear the matter, not a deployee of Pravin Gordhan. Bato is a deployee of Pravin Gordhan. Yeah. That's what she is. She was deployed there the same way they did with SARS. They deployed SARS person because they don't want to pay tax on CR17. They don't want to pay tax on CR17. So, and we must behave like there is nothing wrong with that, because we are scared the white media will vilify you and call you names and say, no, you are working with Zuma. We are not working with Zuma. We are working with ourselves. We are doing our job. Our job as an opposition is to hold the executive accountable. We have not surrendered our role like the media did when it comes to Ramaphosa. We have not. I mean, a court, not even a court, a judge gives a directive that those things must be sealed. No media makes an application. No NGO makes an application. Media that must always demand that people must know what is in those documents, especially if they involved a president. The NGOs, the loudest mouth NGOs in this country, all of them have gone mum. And yet the judge has given a wrong decision that the envelopes must be sealed. We want those envelopes open. We want to see. Maybe some of these NGOs also received money. That's why they can't go to court to demand that those envelopes must be opened. Where have you ever seen such a thing? In a country where a state president is alleged to have received money amongst other people, dodgy people. We now know of Busasa, what said, that he gave him money. What more, how many more other people who are dodgy are in those envelopes? Why don't you have interest as a South African media to know? Because it's Cyril. No, there's no constitution for Cyril and constitution for others. We are all subjected to the same constitution. And we're going to make sure that those documents are unsealed. We're writing a letter tomorrow to Deputy Judge President Ledwaba, who sealed those documents, to ask him to open those documents. They are in a public court. He must open them. Let the public know who put the money. If Cyril is this clean, the way you want to project him, why don't you support the effort to open the documents? We want to see who's in the document. Well, we are going to demand that Pravin must go. And we're going to demand that in Parliament. And we're going to have rolling mass actions on Pravin, starting 13th February in Parliament. When Cyril starts, we start. That's how it's going to roll. When he starts speaking, we're speaking also about Pravin going. They were not going to be held here by Pravin. It must come to an end. It must come to an end. Pravin is in charge, he is running this country and destroying our assets in this country, and the man is untouchable. There were two people who misled President. It was Pravin, it was Jabu Mabuza. An African has fallen, but the Indian remains, because these minorities are not touched. Jabu Mabuza left. We said, everybody in this country agreed that these two misled President. It was an African and the Indian. Only an African lives. Because that's how it's supposed to be in this country. It's supposed to be like that. Minorities are not held accountable. Cyril has taken our country back into the hands of a white man. They've captured Union Building. They are running this country. Business is running this country the same way the Guptas were doing. White capital is running this country. And because it has got money, because it controls everyone, no one is challenging them. No one is challenging them. So we have taken a decision to challenge them. There's no white man who's going to capture Union Building under our watch. We must not allow that. The same way we have not allowed the Guptas to capture this country, no white man is going to capture this country. It can't be it's a state capture when it's done by Indians. And then it is investment advice when it is done by whites. No ways. This country, these whites have become more arrogant. Africans are being removed in positions of power. African businessmen and women are closed out. They are characterized as corrupt. Any African person who gets a tender under this government He's investigated and he's declared corrupt. But when it is white, there is no problem. There is a company here which Cyril was a chairman of, Bidvest. Is doing everything. Why is Bidvest doing everything in this country? Why? And then you don't say it's corruption. If it was some Tubahale doing everything in this country, a black man doing what Bidvest is doing, that black man would have been declared corrupt long time ago. But if it's a white man called Bidvest, which was chaired by Cyril Ramaphosa, no, there's no problem. They even go into the smallest businesses which can be left to young women in the villages to run those projects. I won't be shocked if we wake up one day, they say, no, the feeding scheme in Polokwane is given to Bidvest. He does everything. I'm asking you, South Africa, to answer the question. If it was an African-owned company doing what Bidvest is doing, do you think that company will not have been declared corrupt? But if it's a white man, it's allowed. We're being controlled by whites here. Even the little political freedom we got in 1994, Cyril has surrendered that power back into whiteness. That's a problem here. And then when you talk, everyone comes against you. Why? They are being controlled by money. They are being controlled by money. The EFF has taken a decision here. It told us here, right in front of our eyes, no leader of the EFF is going to have a private meeting with Cyril Ramaphosa. If Cyril calls you, you tell us before, and then you tell us after. What were you talking about? No leader of the EFF is going to have a private meeting with the captains of the industry. Any big business. It's not going to happen. The leadership of the EFF must spend time with the people on the ground and not these captains of the industry and the political elite. These people have captured us. Cyril thinks we are fools. When he goes to answer questions, he calls political leaders there in parliament. He meets you one by one. He softens you. He goes and answers nonsense in parliament. And then when it is a state of the nation, he calls all of us one by one. He softens you. And then anything you speak about, nothing comes out as a program or to change lives of our people. Useless meetings. That's how he governs people. He calls you to a meeting, he neutralizes you. So we can't have leaders who go around and compromising this country. What is it that Cyril has done since we removed Zuma? One. We don't want men. One. Except him becoming president. That's the only thing he wanted, just to become president. He has achieved that. And then the rest, he doesn't care. So we'll meet him on the 13th. And that's wire.
Okay, Mr. President. Any other questions? Yeah, let's start with you. No man, you haven't spoken. Anyone else? Okay, then 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Yes, sir.
My name is Gordon now. Mr. Malema, I just wanted to find out, how did the name of the retired judge Nugent emerge? Did any political party propose that name? And secondly, are you going to submit names to serve on that commission?
Yes, sir.
Bonga again from EWN. Mr. Malema, on Tshwane, when you say you're in talks with the ANC, specifics, do you want them to say we'll offer you mayorship or speaker? What exactly are those talks and what stage are they at right now? And with the Public Protector Commission, should we allow this process just to happen because the ANC is looking at likelihood to remove? It's not we're going to remove you at the moment. They're saying it's a likelihood what the process could be. So should it, if Busiswe Mkhwebane as clean as people say she is, then should that happen and should be vindicated at the end? And the third question, my final one, on the on your Twitter account, personal Twitter account, there was where you said that you're aware of people in communication with Herman Mashaba, EFF chairpersons. Are you willing to share who are those people, or if indeed that is something you still believe in? Thank you.
SABC. I'm only to Margo again. SABC. Thanks. I would like to maybe get it out from you, Mr. Malema, as to basically, as you just said now, that Utaristo Ramaphosa, there's nothing, not even one that he's done. Nifuna Achin that you will satisfy yourselves, besides the fact that you want him to remove the Minister of Public Enterprises, Pravin Gordhan, so that we don't see discussion in Parliament. What is it that he really has to do to satisfy you, if ever? And of course, to reiterate on Bonga's question about those, we even asked your secretary, Mr. Gamini, when we were here last week, to actually tell us if you know all of those chairpersons, the inland province and the coastal province, who are in communication with Mr. Mashawa. Because,
Mr. President. So I forgot the Mashawa question. There were chairpersons and some people who are talking to Mashawa. So it's an information we have. And come out, you will see. You will see them. We don't have to do it on their behalf. They will do it themselves. We don't go around applying membership for them. So we're just making them aware that we know. There's another one who's also talking to Musi as well. We know that. Yeah. And you know we're never wrong. We've never shared with you wrong information. Nugent was proposed by DA. Nugent was proposed. So DA and Ramaphosa, they work together because they both have the same funders. So if you go and take those emails of Ramaphosa, of people who funded CR17, and you check the people who finance DA, it's the same group. If you ask Musi, he will tell you. He has been under huge pressure from the financial group to work with Ramaphosa. And Musi said, but I joined the DA to oppose the ANC. I didn't join the DA to work with a faction in the ANC. So I'm not going to do it. That's how he became unpopular. So he was removed because he asked that question to Ramaphosa, and it was difficult like that. So the DA even now says they don't even think Ramaphosa misled Parliament. The DA is fighting with Public Protector for having ruled in their favor. How do you fight with a person for ruling in your favor? So they are working with Ramaphosa because why? The white man is the one who's running this country. So they don't see a need. Why do we remove Ramaphosa when Ramaphosa is doing the work for us? The white man is the one who's running this country. That's why the DA is not fighting Ramaphosa. It's working with Ramaphosa. That's why they can go and take Nugent. Because Nugent is their man who has meetings with Pravin. If that thing had not come out, we'll not know till today that Nugent met Pravin. He didn't volunteer that information. He goes and suppresses or hide an affidavit which exposes Ramaphosa. So what type of a judge is that one? He can't see it on those matters of Public Protector because he has already demonstrated that he has taken side. So we are going to nominate our own judges and people who are going to sit on the panel, and we'll do that at an appropriate forum. We firstly have to make sure that we talk to those people. I don't know who are you having a conversation with when you say, leave the process. If the Public Protector is clean, leave the process. We never said the process must stop. We're saying to you, we're going to submit names for the process to start. So we never oppose the process. And we're not going to join her case where she's taking Parliament to court. No, we don't think it's necessary. We must come and battle it out in Parliament. They brought it there. The DA has got the right to do that, and we will engage with it at that level. So I don't think there's anything. My brother, we want Ramaphosa to reduce unemployment. We want Ramaphosa to grow our economy. want Ramaphosa to allow Africans to participate in the economy of South Africa. Want Ramaphosa to remove Pravin and replace Pravin with capable people who are able to run a state. Want Ramaphosa to leave our companies alone. Dinel, AXA, Eskom, Transnet, all those things, SAA, they belong to us. It's our property. And he wants to give our properties to his friends to pay the debt of 1 billion which they gave him during his campaign. It's none of our problems. He must go and leave our property alone. So that's what we want from Ramaphosa, and he's not doing any of those things. The corruption in this country is continuing. And when it is done by his people, it's not corruption, it's empowerment. When it is done by Zuma's people, it's corruption. We can't allow that. We're not going to allow that. So, if Ramaphosa was doing all of this and stop selling our country to a white man, then we'll know that this man is a capable leader. We said at the beginning, let's give Ramaphosa a chance. We gave him a chance, and we can see that if we continue not to challenge him in a radical way, by the time we wake up, the white man will actually officially be sitting in the Union building. I can't rule out a possibility of a splinter group from the ANC to form a coalition with a DA and restore a white man in the Union building. It's possible. It's possible they are working on something like that. So we are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow that. We are not going to allow a person to target Africans, to make it his business. Now, we opened a case here against Pravin with those banks outside the country. We gave them a bank account. We gave them all types of evidence. A policeman calls me and says, no, I want you to give us a bank account. I say, well, don't make me a stupid way, no, man. You calling me to ask me for a bank account of Pravin because you want to be seen doing something. I gave you everything. All those things you are asking from me, I gave them to you. When I came to open the case, I gave you evidence. Till today, Pravin is not arrested. But if it was Malusi Gigaba or something like that, they would have arrested by now. Because those prisons and the constitution and the law are for Africans, not for Indians, not for whites. We're being treated differently in this country. And that nonsense must come to an end. This thing of just being scared of white people and Indians must come to an end. This is our country. We're not stepchildren of this country. We're being treated here like stepchildren here. And Cyril allows that nonsense. The confidence and the arrogance of white supremacists now, you can even touch it with your own hand. They've become more arrogant. At the workplace, in business, they've become more arrogant. They're in charge. So we're not going to allow that. We're not going to allow that. DA, we were together when we took Zuma to court when he was refusing accountability. Today they were not there to demand demand that Cyril must be held accountable during the case of the public protector. Where's the DA to demand the unsealing of documents? If it's a really an official opposition in South Africa, where's the DA? They are together with Ramaphosa. They are together with Ramaphosa. And if the judges want to be with Ramaphosa, they must say so. If there is a constitution for Zuma, and there is a constitution for Ramaphosa, and there is a constitution for Malema, the judges must tell us. The judges must tell us. It must not be easy for any document shared with a public court to be sealed. Because the court becomes part of the cover-up. How can the court be part of the cover-up? How are we going to respect the court? If the court can seal things that are shared with a public court, people are not angry that the court is covering up. We want those documents. The public protector obtained the document legally. FIC came, the judge president said to the FIC, guys, your input is very clear. I don't even think you have to persuade us on anything unless you insist on saying something. That's how clear the documents were obtained by the public protector. Legally obtained documents are sealed. Illegal bank statements of us are being circulated in the media. Illegally obtained bank statements are circulated everywhere in the media. The documents that are legally obtained are shared with the court. The court helps to cover up. A court can't be part of a cover-up. We're not going to allow that. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. The court must release those documents. We want to know who gave Cyril money. We want to know who got the money from Cyril. So, everyone, including these NGOs that claim that they are for democracy and for accountability and all of that, we're calling on all of them to join in the call to have Cyril Ramaphosa's papers unsealed unless they are in those papers and they are part of a cover-up. Then we know there are no NGOs in this country. They are puppets of George Soros. Media houses must be in the forefront to demand that that which is shared with public court must be made available. You guys are the ones that must be able to unearth hidden things from the public and say, look at what your leaders are doing. No, you have become part of the cover-up. If you are not part of the cover-up, why are you not in court to demand that you want to write about those documents? Why? You are protecting Ramaphosa and making him to be above the law. You're making him to be above the law. You are setting a wrong precedence. The next president is going to be the one you don't like and will be covering things up. When you try to talk, you say, no, there is precedence. There is a case law which covered and protected Ramaphosa's documents. Why me? You're setting a wrong precedence for this democracy. The EFF is not going to sit back and allow that nonsense. It ends today. Let everyone else be held accountable. All of us must be held accountable. It's our municipality. We're the mayor. Yeah, in Tswane, we're the mayor, or else we're not voting with anyone. We don't have a problem. If you don't give us the mayor, leave it. The same way we did in Joburg. We told them in Joburg, let's vote together in Joburg. We vote in Joburg with us. You vote with us in Tswane. Then we have a stable municipalities. They refused. Criminals are controlling that municipality. Criminals are even sitting in management meetings. Politicians are sitting in management meetings in Joburg. And then they threaten them that if you don't give me this or that tender, we are withdrawing our support. Remember the ANC won there with those three delinquents of the three DA. They are expelled or something. So the ANC has got a problem in Joburg. They behave like things are under control. They are not under control. The thugs want power. One of the smallest parties there is demanding that a municipal manager must be fired. Why? Because they want to appoint their own municipal manager and steal properly. Why do you go expel a municipal manager? Municipal manager didn't do anything wrong. Can't just go around expelling people on the basis that you want to put your own puppets and steal municipal monies. No. So they want a stable government. We gave the ANC a simple thing. We said, where you take the executive, we take the legislature to hold you accountable. Where we take the executive, you take the legislature to hold us accountable. We don't co-govern. We can't co-govern with criminals. So we said, You must be speaker and all that and hold us accountable. And then who will be speaker where you are in the executive to hold you accountable? They refuse. And went to elect that Jeff. Now they are stuck. They can't even, I don't think they will pass budget, those ones.
Mr. President, I think just one round, final one. Mr. President,
Yeah.
Final one.
There is a new one.
Short. Follow-ups.
Number one there, anyone else? And then you will conclude from Newsroom Africa. Yes, sir.
Mr. Malema, are you going to support the ATM's motion of confidence on Syria?
Thank you.
Bali again from Newsroom Africa. I just want to find out, when you look at Johannesburg, you've just spoken about your partnership with the ANC in terms of how you vote, or the Tshwane segment. I just want to find out, in Johannesburg, are there any talks with the ANC? Because we do know that they won't be able to pass any budget. Are you talking to them right now in terms of how council will go ahead and actually run the city of Johannesburg?
Yes, President.
Well, we are talking to them about Tshwane and Joburg. All we want is a stable municipality, free from corruption, holding each other accountable. We cannot be part of a criminal arrangement. So when we come in with them in Johannesburg and we become the legislature, they remain the executive, they will have to do away with thugs. We don't want criminals. We can't work with criminals. Will not support ATM motion of no confidence. We don't want clownish things here. I mean, the ATM didn't even speak to us. So when we did the motions of no confidence ourselves against other people before, we speak to everyone. When you know your strength, you can't just wake up in the morning and say you're going to pass a motion of no confidence. You don't talk to people and then just assume they will support you. No, it doesn't work like that. There is no motion of no confidence we're going to support. We're going to fight Cyril our own way, and we're not going to be hijacked by any opportunism, any corrupt elements, nothing. We will hold Cyril accountable, and we'll do it our own way. And there's no one who's going to blackmail us. The rogue unit criminals, they can go and say Pravin has got information against EFF leaders. That's why they don't want him. Why is Pravin not using that EFF information? I mean, we've been fighting this guy, man. If he had anything against us, he would have released it by now. But hey, Pravin, they are scared of prison. Who? We fought Zuma with all the prisons he could have taken us to. They said Zuma has got information against us. We were fighting because we were scared of SARS. Every time we want to hold the executive accountable. Pravin has got this. Pravin has got this. You will see an article about VBS this week, next week, because we are going to fight Pravin and Ramaphosa. That's how it works. And these ones of Amabungan, they don't know that she is part of the rogue unit. She works for rogue unit. They use her in the rogue unit to try and blackmail anyone who fights Pravin. So we are not scared. We are not just fighting. We know what Pravin is capable of. We are not just fighting. We know what is capable, and we are ready for anything. We are not scared of anything, nothing. We are ready for anything. You see. So we don't seek favor from anyone. All we want is the truth. Nah, I'm under state protection. Police are the ones that are protecting. If Cyril wants to take them, he can take them. I don't care about those things. All I want is the truth. That's all we want. Because you remember I was under state protection. Yeah. And when I started fighting with Zuma, he took the police. So they can do the same thing. We don't care. We don't care about those things. So it's going to be a very interesting year, because this year we'll go to Fireblade, take on White Capital head on. We want it closed because these criminals are using the fire blade to leave this country undetected with our mineral resources. They use fire blade to live with gold. They use fire blade to live with diamonds. So we need everyone to be treated equal. We must all be subjected to all the gates. There must not be a gate of rich people. We're going to have the biggest picket at Johan Rupert's farm in Mpumalanga. We want that farm expropriated without compensation and given to the rightful owners. Plus, he's not even paying rent and taxes and services there in Nkomas. So we want him to hand over the land. And then every factory, every farm, every company that is known to be Johan and Oppenheimer, this year they will be visited. Investec, this guy, Stephen Koshev. Stephen Koshev is always in the Union Building there. Every day. The same thing that the Guptas were doing. The difference is that Zuma was going to the Guptas at the Saxon World. Stephen Koshev is always, go and ask those staff members at Union Building. Go and ask those staff members at Matlaband over there. Stephen Koshev is there. He's running the government from there. Investec is running this country. The Ruperts are running this country. And we're keeping quiet. Let's go to Investec and to tell them they must leave our country alone. They must leave the political affairs of this country in the hands of politicians. They must continue doing business. The financial sector in South Africa is racist and arrogant. When you are black and you put a claim, they profile you. Any black person who dies is a criminal, is suspected. When you say, no, a person has died, but it's possible that person might not be dead. They don't believe us even when we're dead. They refuse to pay. That's what they do. The medical aid profiles patients when they put claims, then also profiles the doctors. Discovery. It does that. These are racist institutions that must be fought, that must be challenged. So we must challenge them. And we must make sure that we do it in such a way that they know they don't have power. The banks just issue our bank statements, give to media. When you ask them, they say, no, we did investigation. There's no statement we gave to anyone. The matter is closed. With such arrogance. With such arrogance because they are untouchable. So the masses must go and touch them. We must show them that we can actually collapse them if we want. So let the power of masses be felt by these racists who are given power by Ramaphosa, who have become extremely arrogant. Let us crush white arrogance in South Africa. Let's deal with it.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Through you, this is my last press conference as the National Spokesperson. It's been 7 years this year. And I just want to thank you, colleagues, for the good relations we had, and even for the bad ones, because the President has indicated that on those instances we remain unapologetic. And in Dao, I'm a duly elected commissar of the EFF, and I'm still around and going to work for this organization because it's the future and no one can stop it. I want to wish both commissars, Delisile Ngwenya and Vuyane Pambo, the best, and please treat them well. Thank you very much and have an excellent Sunday.
Thank you, Mom. Thank you.